What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod, and I'm coming at you today with my Synchron deck profile. This is going to be the same Synchron deck I used most recently in our duel video series, so if you haven't already checked out those duel videos and seen this Synchron deck in action, make sure you do so. You can do it by going down over here to the links at the bottom of the screen in annotations. Check out those duel videos, come on back, and then take a look at this Synchron deck. Alright, so what I'm going to do is kind of go over all the cards in the deck. I'm going to kind of explain some of the combos, and I'm even going to show you guys how to get Shooting Quasar Dragon out in just one turn with just having 3 cards in your hand. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first up we're playing 3 copies of Junk Synchron, 3 copies of Quickdraw Snychron, 3 copies of Level Eater. This card is truly the MVP of the deck in my opinion. I wish I would have hopped on board the Level Eater bandwagon a long time ago. I watched a lot of different people's versions of the Junk Synchron quick draw deck or Synchron deck in general, and the best way to use it and what to do, what not to do, what cards to include. I played a lot of different versions, watched a lot of different videos, and one of the ones that I kind of really was hesitant on was including 3 copies of Level Eater, and I think once I did that, once I finally accepted that 3 would be needed, it added a lot of consistency to my draws. I was able to get Level Eater that much more faster. Really the trick is you need to have Level Eater at some point in your combos in order to really make the big plays and push for a Quasar. So from there we're playing 2 copies of Synchron Explorer, 2 copies of Unknown Synchron, 2 copies of Quillbolt Hedgehog. I just really like this guy. He's able to special summon himself from the graveyard. Could really help you get to some of your combo pieces really easily. From there, 2 Dopplewarriors. We have 2 Effect Veilers, and then 1 Dandylion. A lot of people really aren't digging on Dandylion anymore. They're like, plants are dead, blah blah blah. And the plant engine is of course dead, but Dandylion is still a good card, and you can still foolish him. I'm still playing 1 for 1 in this deck build. You could set him if your opponent's got, going to try and push for a game. They think they just got around 1 monster. Blop, oh no, it's Dandylion. Now you got to get around 3. I think it was kind of a good card in some aspects like that. You could, of course, take the Dandylion out to include, a 3rd Effect Veiler if that was your style, or I would probably take one of the Dopplewarriors out if I wanted to play a 3rd Effect Veiler. Just my personal preference. I don't think Dopplewarrior works quite as good as it used to, but it still can be quite good in getting out all the pieces that you need. And that's kind of round up my monster lineup for my Synchron deck. So from there we move on to spells. We of course got 1 for 1, a classic in the Synchron engine. Foolish Burial, another classic. Mind Control, Pot of Avarice, Reinforcement of the Army. Lots of old classics you probably hadn't seen since the Plant era. From there we're playing 3 copies of Tuning. This is kind of essential into making sure that we get our quick draws and whatnot as soon as possible. This allows for big plays in our deck. And then we got staples like 3 MSTs, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, and Darkhold to kind of round up our little spell count. Playing kind of minimal amount of traps, very standard stuff, 2 warnings, 2 torrentials, and just 2 fiendish chains. Alright, as for the extra deck, it's all synchros here. We got 1 formula, 1 armory arm, Catastor, TG, Hyper Librarian, Back from the Dead, Junk Synchron, Junk Gardna, Brionac, Black Rose Dragon, Junk Berserker, Junk Destroyer, Road Warrior, Scrap Dragon, Stardust Dragon, Shooting Star Dragon, and of course Mr. Shooting Quasar Dragon himself. 15 synchros in all, and that's going to round up our extra deck. Alright, so next up I'm going to kind of go over some of my synchro choices for the deck with Junk Synchron, Junk Gardna, Junk Berserker, Junk Destroyer, and then all the way down to Road Warrior. Road Warrior is a level 8. It's in there essentially so we can get our 1-turn Shooting Quasar Dragon out as soon as possible. He's really needed for that. As for the rest of them, I decided to go with the Junk Brigade and some of the other ones that Quick Draw can make. You want to make sure you have every level imaginable for them. So we have a level 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we can go into them quite easily. But I also picked these particular ones because you can also use Junk Synchron to make them. So if I don't have Quick Draw in hand and I still can make a kind of a big play for a level 7 or a level 8 or a level 6, and I don't want to use my Black Rose, or I don't want to use my Brio, I can go into one of these other guys because they only require Junk Synchron. So I think that's kind of the main reason why I chose them. Plus, Junk Destroyer has a pretty hefty attack at 27. You can put a lot of halt on some people's decks. Road Synchron's 3000, so that's pretty tough to get around too. It's a really great level 8, and he's got a really great effect that you're going to see in just a second as we go over the one-turn Quasar combo. Okay, so a lot of you guys are wondering, how do you get Quasar out so many times so fast? There's actually a lot of combos out there. When you go through YouTube, you can kind of watch a lot of them. I've watched, I think, maybe every video on YouTube about how to get Quasar out in just one turn, what cards you need in your hand, and all that kind of jazz. I think the most easiest one to do, or at least probably my favorite one, or the most simplest one, is just a 3-card combo you need in your hand. I watched it on Super Genji's channel. I shall have a link to that video down in the description below, but I'm going to go ahead and show you right now too. So essentially how it works is you only need these 3 cards in hand. So if you draw into these 3 cards in your first hand, we are playing 3 Quick Draws, 3 Level Eaters, and 2 Synchron Explorers, so it is quite easy to get them. So as long as you draw into these 3 cards and your opponent does not have a Veiler in hand, you can go ahead and bring Quasar out first turn and give a really big stumbling block for them to try and get over. Sometimes it's way too big of a stumbling block. Or if you're kind of late game in and you happen to draw into these 3, or if you happen to draw into these 2 and Level Eater's already in the graveyard, you just have some other random monster in hand, you can also complete the combo. I'm going to go over kind of how it works right now. Okay, you start off by dumping Level Eater into the graveyard to special summon out Quickdraw Snychron. Okay, you're going to activate Level Eater's effect at this point, making Quickdraw level 4, and Level Eater comes right out. Then you're going to go ahead and Synchro Summon to bring out your Junk Warrior. From there, you're going to go ahead and activate Level Eater's effect, making Junk Warrior a level 4. Level Eater is now on the field. You could then use your normal summon to go ahead and bring out Synchron Explorer, thus bringing out Quickdraw Snychron. Now, there was some sort of confusion in the comment section about Synchron Explorer's effect versus Quickdraw. Now, on Quickdraw, it states for a Synchro summon, you can substitute this card for any one Synchro tuner monster. This card cannot be used as a Synchro monster except for the Synchro summon of a monster that lists a Synchron monster as a tuner. That is actually its condition, it's not its effect. This card is kind of similar to Kochi the Daybreaker, so even if you or your opponent has a card like Skill Drain out, that still will not affect Quickdraw Snychron and how it works. So because of this, he can still be used to make Road Warrior, which would normally require Road Synchron. So from there, we go ahead and Synchro up, sending these 3 to the graveyard, making our level 8, and bringing out our Road Warrior. Now we activate Road Warrior's effect. This allows us to bring out our Unknown Synchron. Okay, from there we're going to activate Level Eater's effect in the graveyard once again, this time lowering Road Warrior. Road Warrior is now a level 7. Junk Warrior is a level 4. Alright, we're going to go ahead and Synchro up now to bring out our Formula Synchron. Draw a card, it doesn't matter what it is. We now activate Level Eater's effect once again on Road Warrior, making him now level 6. We now have level 4, level 6, level 2, and we can go into our level 12, shooting Quasar Dragon. 1 turn, 3 cards. A little herpy-derpy, yes, but it is quite possible. There's actually quite a number of different scenarios and different cards you could have in your hand to get shooting Quasar out in just 1 turn. I found this one to be the simplest and usually the quickest and easiest one, seeing as how you're playing so many of these. Other combos include stuff like, 1 for 1, or Foolish Burial, or just already having a certain card in the graveyard. This one just requires you to have those 3 cards in hand, so it makes it a little bit easier. The important thing when you're playing the Synchron deck is just to remember, all the different plays you can do to get shooting Quasar out. There is quite a number. I'm not going to go through every one of them. A lot of you guys saw me playing, this deck on Dueling Network for quite a while I was testing it. I was doing a lot of the different combos off. You just got to be able to know when you got those cards in your hand that you can make those combos and just kind of see the plays and kind of get a good read on your opponent on, if they have a Veiler or something that's going to stop your combo going off. And that's how you do it. That's how you get Quasar out in just 1 turn. Okay, and there you guys have it. This is my Synchron deck that I used in the most recent duel video. I also have this deck up on Dueling Network, so if you guys ever want to duel against me with this deck, you can do so. My Dueling Network screen name is simply GalacticGod, so just come find me up on Dueling Network. I shall be happy to duel you with this deck if you like. Also, if you guys have any comments or suggestions on how I can improve upon the deck, what kind of synchros or Synchron deck you've seen that's worked in the past, please leave me your suggestions down in the comment section. I would love to read them. Or if you just have some general ideas or discussion about the deck, I'd also like to hear that. And I guess that's it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.